All right, no music today. Welcome back to another episode of the Not Safe for Work MMA show on the LoudMouth MMA Podcast Network. Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you very much. Make sure you tune in to the rest of the podcasts on the LoudMouth MMA Podcast Network. We got some good stuff on here, so please check it out. I'm Kyle Steele, your host. Joining me, per usual, is Mr. Frederick Kirby.
Young man.
What up?
What up, Mr. Kyle?
Welcome. Plenty to talk about.
Oh, my God. We've got so much shit to unpack after last night.
I think we could probably spend the whole show just talking about Khabib and all the narrative surrounding Khabib. Why do we just kind of plan on that? And if we get to some other shit, then we get to some other shit.
Well, I thought you were going to say we could spend the whole show talking about Lauren Murphy's tit that popped out, which apparently I missed. But if anybody wants to see it, it's on my Twitter at Kirby_MMA. Somebody else put it up, and I fucking retweeted that. So if you ever wonder what Lauren Murphy's tit looks like, apparently we seen it last night. I did miss that live, too, as far as it goes, which I usually don't miss things like that. But.
I knew something had happened live, but it happened so quickly that there was no, you don't see anything.
She got that big hooter back in there. I'll give her that. All props to Lauren Murphy. That's something we can spend the whole show talking about. I've been fucking telling y'all, eventually one of these tops are going to shoot down. I kind of wish it would have happened on, Pearl Gonzalez or the like, but I'll take Lauren Murphy's too.
Where's Pearl Gonzalez? Is she in Bellator?
I don't know. Fucking Invicta, Bellator, something like that.
Somewhere.
Fucking 1FC. Yeah, no, listen. The big story is fucking Khabib and all the other little details that come along with it.
So that was our main event last night. Co-main, we had Robert Whittaker, Jared Cannonier. I think that one went exactly how I imagined. Dude, I really, really, really wish I would have bet last night. We had like a little, we had people over for the fights, and we had a little like keeping track of our picks.
Oh, yeah.
Not only did I go 6 for 6, but the tiebreaker, I had Khabib winning in the second round.
Oh, wow.
I literally got every fight right, and then I got the round right of the main event. Like, shit, dude. Like, I wish I'd bet on that. But I think everything went exactly how I imagined. There was nothing that was a shock to me. Jared Cannonier, it was weird because everybody was getting real hyped on Jared Cannonier, and I'm looking at what he's done, and I'm like, what are we talking about? Where are we getting this? Everybody else that was here yesterday, they all picked Jared Cannonier.
The knockout of Hermanson was big. I think that was a big.
Is that it?
Well, not it, but I think that's really what put a lot of faith in him as a middleweight. I mean, he's got some other fucking decent wins at middleweight, but I think that was the big one that really was like, oh shit. He's got to win over Anderson Silva too, right? Which I guess who doesn't at this point in the game. But
yeah, I mean,
look, clearly it was. I feel like that fight could have went two ways: the one that it went, or Jared Cannonier, fucking catches Robert Whittaker and finishes him off with strikes. I didn't think obviously Jared was going to outstrike Robert Whittaker or out-grapple him. I think that was kind of the consensus going in, is that maybe he can land one of those big shots, put, Whittaker on skates and get the finish. He didn't, and as such. The only... my issue with this fight, not really my issue with it, not the fight, but the problem with the outcome for me is now it's like, what do we do with Whittaker? What are we doing at middleweight? Cannonier would have been a fresh fight for Izzy. Now we got Whittaker, and, I mean, listen, I heard fucking DC on the broadcast. Whittaker's gotten better. He's done this, that, and the other. I don't want to ruin the end of the movie for y'all, but no, he hasn't. Not to compete with. I'm telling you right now, I never fucking make fight predictions because I'm always wrong. I'm not the guy to predict fights. And I could very well be wrong about this one because of how shitty I am at it. I still bet my firstborn child that fucking Izzy beats the shit out of Robert Whittaker again. It's just styles make fights. Robert's not going to be able to strike with Izzy. He's not going to be able to take him down and hold him down. Just because he outstruck Jared Cannonier don't mean fuck all. In the grand scheme of him getting his belt back from fucking Izzy. Only way he's getting that middleweight strap back again is if somebody beats Izzy first. Like, I'm sorry. And again, fuck off with the first child thing. Fucking joke. But I fucking highly doubt it. How long ago did they fight? What was that, like a year?
Listen, I'll bet all 3 of my children that Khabib didn't retire last night.
Yeah, you know what?
So if anybody wants to take me up on that, he did retire, so you can come pick the children up. If you need my address, just DM me. Dude, they are fucking on one.
Yeah, the kids have been.
I posted about it, and everybody else is like, dude, it's like something's been going on.
It's quarantine. What are you gonna do? It's fucking COVID.
Is that all that it is?
Well, the world's upside down right now. Half the kids are fucking doing school from home and shit.
They have just been, just like on one. Like the other day.
To be fair, your kids are young too.
It's like
they're always going to be on one.
It's like midnight. We've been yelling at Henry since 9. You know what I mean? 3 hours later, the dude he's at one point he was running laps like around the house. He was just going boom, 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 at midnight. Like, what is happening? he's the dude that's usually asleep by 7:30. You know, like he just like passes out.
Sometimes the train just goes off the tracks, man.
Well, that's why what I've always loved about Henry is he's very different than my other two. Like he literally will put himself to bed. Like he'll be like, I'm going to bed, you know, and he's 4. And he's just like, I'm done, and he'll just go.
I've had enough.
He'll go tuck himself in and go to sleep. Like he's just such a good sleeper. And then I don't know what's going on. Everybody is just they're all jacked up. And Harper's talking to me sideways today.
Yeah,
I don't know who she thinks she's like 5 years old.
Yeah.
I was like, I will crush you.
Yeah, listen,
you do not talk to me that way.
Like I told you upstairs, don't think it gets easier. I've got a 13-year-old pushing 14, and she fucking pushes her luck daily, Jack.
Oh God, kids. I'm trying to. My internet is creeping today.
Yeah. So look, just to put a little bow on that. Props to Robert Whittaker. He did look very fucking impressive. I picked him to lose, but I'm just the guy that's never sold on Whittaker. I'm a hater.
I mean, I'm not sold on Whittaker either.
He looked good though. No doubt about it.
I don't know, man. It's like, yeah, I guess I just didn't see we've seen nothing from Jared Cannonier. I mean, you're talking about the Hermanson fight, which okay, sure,
right.
But I mean that's it. So I was just like, I don't know. The whole thing seemed. I think we're putting too much stock in the fact that he went from heavyweight to 205 to 185.
Right.
And we're just putting a lot of stock in that, you know. And then Whittaker came up from 170 to 185. So you're like, all right, this guy fought at heavyweight and has moved down 2 classes. This guy was at 170 and moved up.
Right.
So I think we just put way too much stock in that. And at the end of the day, Whittaker's just a better fighter, and he also doesn't have Diego Sanchez syndrome, thinking that like Crystal's going to make him a better fighter.
Right. No, yeah.
So at the end of the day, like
I will say,
I don't trust anybody with that mindset.
Let me state too, man, for all the fucking shitbirds out there that might try to misconstrue my points here. I do think that Robert Whittaker has gotten better for sure. I think he's been, in the lab since that loss to Izzy. I thought he looked good in the Till fight, although he did get rocked a couple times. Although he did get rocked late in the Cannonier fight, too, as far as it fucking goes. Quite frankly, I think Whittaker's striking defense is a little fucking porous at best. But he has looked better. He's looked good. He does look like he's reinvigorated the sport. He looks like he's training hard. He's ready to rock. He's as tough as ever. Like I said, the only problem I have with it is it's just I've seen nothing that makes me think that he's really that a fight with Izzy goes any different than the first one did. I can't see where he beat. I feel bad for him too because sometimes it just be like that, like for all the guys that have been at 205 for the last decade. Like sometimes, or the guys that were at middleweight, Chael Sonnen. If Anderson Silva didn't exist, Chael Sonnen's whole career would have been completely different. But, he just happened to be around when Anderson was in his prime and he was the king. And it sucks when somebody's that good and they're there, man. It is what it is. Like Izzy's just, I don't think Robert Whittaker's ever going to beat Israel Adesanya, period. Sure. I just think the skills are set in place. I mean, could he catch a lucky punch? Sure. But is he going to come in and outstrike Izzy, take him down and all this kind of bullshit?
But do you think, I guess the question isn't can he win? The question is, does he deserve to at least try again?
For fuck's sakes, that's
that's the actual question.
I guess yes, because there's nobody really else at middleweight. If we don't give it to Whittaker, who's probably earned it the most by merit at this point with a win over Till and Cannonier. I mean, who else at middleweight deserves it more right now? Which is really kind of shitty because, like I said, it just puts us in a. Don't get me wrong, the UFC will sell the fuck out of the rematch with Robert Whittaker. They'll probably try to do it in fucking New Zealand or some shit, make it a big Aussie versus New Zealand thing again. They'll be able to sell that fight. Just for me personally, I just don't. I thought the fight was low-key a mismatch the first time. I just thought if Wonder Boy can do that at 70, imagine what Izzy's going to do at 85. And he did exactly what I thought he would do. And I don't see this. Again, ain't like they fought 5 years ago and Whittaker has changed immensely and he's gotten bigger and gotten more power. He's changed a little, but bro, they fought like a year and a half ago. I mean, they're still the same guys. What the fuck?
No, I agree. I think the outcome is going to be very, very similar.
Right.
I can't. There's no one else to fight Izzy at this point. So
right. That's the problem, though, is that there really ain't much of a need for that fight. But who the fuck else is there, really? you know.
We got Chimioff. Is he going up? Is he
Fuck off with
he
the
doing 185 stuff?
Listen, the quick side note, you know, I'm pretty sure that's a done deal. They got Leon Edwards.
Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Okay.
We will. I kind of said we're going to spend the whole time talking about Habib, but there's another.
Well, sure. There's plenty of shit going on right now.
I want to get to that, and there's another little narrative here that was on this card, which was Lauren Murphy.
Okay,
she gets the win.
No, we're not going to talk about it, but we're going to take this one seriously.
We're going to take this one seriously.
Okay,
we're going to take this one seriously.
Right, I'm here with you.
Yeah, Tick came out.
Gotcha. Yeah, we're
going to take this one seriously.
Okay.
It's a decent win.
Sure.
I mean, I don't know much about the girl that she fought.
Right.
Other than looking up her record prior to the fight and then kind of going a couple layers deep from there and not being terribly impressed.
Sure.
But I don't know much about her.
Right. I don't think nobody did. You know.
Yeah, and I think I'm not sure how that gets you a title fight, but she was very, very, very adamant that that's what she's fighting for next, period. I guess who else would it be?
Yeah. Two things. First off, look, Conor McGregor only gets to be so adamant about what he's doing next. Newsflash, Lauren Murphy, you don't get no fucking choice. That's cute what you said in the cage, but believe me, when DW and Sean Selby and them come up, you're going to do what they fucking tell you to do.
The fight before this one, she beats Roxanne, which is a bigger win than what we initially would have thought it would be. Before that, she beats KGB.
Now,
she's stringing together some good wins here.
To be fair, her best upside is that she's in, by far, in my opinion, the weakest division in the UFC, male or female. Female flyweight is the weakest division in, dare I say, MMA across the board. It is definitely in the UFC. I mean, what division is lighter than female flyweight? I mean, yes, you got Shevchenko, but other than that, they're all fucking rejects from 15 or 30 for the most part. I mean, who's a natural flyweight? You know, a whole homegirl that fought on the card last night that fucking elbowed that fucking broad's nose and destroyed it. I think she was a natural flyweight. That's interesting. We're getting there with the division, but for now, there's nobody really there. Listen, Lauren Murphy, don't be fucking getting too big for your britches. Again, nobody really tells the UFC what to do, but you do got a point. Who the fuck else is there? I mean, she's going to fight Jennifer Maia. Shevchenko is going to fight Jennifer Maia next. After that, I mean, sure, give the fucking title shot to Lauren Murphy for all me.
I think Lauren Murphy needs one more fight. I think she needs to fight like a Cynthia Calvillo or if I assume Jennifer Maia is going to lose that fight.
Right.
So fighting Jennifer Maia. Yeah, I mean, she needs another fight.
Right.
Like, and I get it. She's 37. You know, she's at a point now where she'd like to retire, I'm sure. And she doesn't want to retire without getting a chance. But you can't just will that into existence.
Right.
I mean, you've been a kind of perennial 500 fighter.
Sure.
And
you're on a streak now.
Yeah, you're on a streak, but it's not even like a crazy streak.
Yeah, it's just a very weak division. Very weak division. I mean, like I said, though, I guess
one more win does it.
Yeah, sure.
One more decent win does it.
If the time was right, I wouldn't even be mad at it now. Just because, I mean, what the fuck? She's on a 3-fight win streak, and you know, again, the most shallow division in all of fucking MMA. So, I mean, fuck for all of me. Look, again, whatever. Go ahead and take the fight. You ain't bit more beating fucking Valentina Shevchenko than the fucking man up on the moon. What the fuck? So, yeah, I mean, take the fight for all the good it'll do you, Lauren Murphy. You're going to get the goddamn fucking dog shit beat out of you, but, like, whatever. You want that title fight, knock yourself out.
All right, let's talk about Leon Edwards and Chimioff.
Okay. I love it. Let me just fucking jump right in here. Cool beans, fucking Chimioff. Be careful what you wish for.
I think, you know that I have been chugga, chugga, choo, choo. I am choo-chooing my way down that track.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the problem with trains. Is sometimes in cartoons, they build a brick wall across the tracks.
Yeah, they run right into that sucker.
And they run into that brick wall. And in this instance, that brick wall is named Leon Edwards.
I totally agree.
I think Leon Edwards is going to fucking destroy him.
I mean, you never know. Maybe Chimioff is that guy.
I'll tell you this.
We're about to find the fuck out.
I'll tell you this. If he beats Leon Edwards
quickly.
If he just beats him.
Fair enough.
If he just beats Leon Edwards.
Fair enough.
then I'm like 80% in.
Yeah.
You beat Leon Edwards, I'm 101% in.
Yeah.
I'm all the fuck in. I go, okay, cool. You're the next champion. I think you can beat Usman. I mean, I'm on that level of all in.
Depending on how he beats him, again, for me, like if he beats him, it would be uber impressive regardless. But if he comes out and fucking finishes Leon in like the first or second round, or whatever, if he finishes Leon, then yeah, it would be like, okay, whoa, this fucking dude, yeah, Usman might have a real fucking problem. Yeah. He should not finish Leon Edwards at this point. Again, just to be fair, the first two dudes he fought were, next to nobodies. Again, anybody can look great against, subpar competition. Then he fought Gerald Meerschaert. All right, decent guy. But again, what are we talking about here? Gerald Meerschaert as compared to fucking Leon Edwards?
Yeah, it's not.
I mean, that's a massive gap in talent. I don't give a fuck how big Gerald Meerschaert is or what, weight that fight took place at. Leon Edwards is a whole different ball.
There's a reason why fighters have not been wanting to fight him.
Quite frankly, let me go ahead and fucking go out there on the record and say this is a bad idea for the UFC and for Chiminov.
I think it's a bad idea for everybody.
Well, I think it's a good idea for Leon. Because I think, you're golden boy. Everybody thinks this guy. Let me beat the fuck out of this guy right quick and remind y'all who the fuck he is and who the fuck I am. Now go get my fucking title shot. You get another golden boy, I'll kill them too. Like, are you guys fucking high right now? You give me this dude because he beat Gerald Meerschaert?
The problem with it, though, I think it's a bad idea for everybody. If Leon Edwards wins, which I assume that he will, but it's a question mark.
Yeah, you never know.
Still got to fight the guy.
I mean, there is a little intrigue with the fight. All hyperbole aside by me.
We don't know what we have here.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. He could be that good.
Yeah, I mean, what if this guy really is?
What if he does the same thing to Leon that he did to Gerald? One punch fucking Susie, fucking Connor Jose's him and shit. That would you never know.
If that happens, Leon Edwards completely disappears. He's already barely able to hang on for no reason. For no reason.
Yeah.
Barely able to hang on.
But I guess that would have been the case with any fight that Leon would have took, though, because he is so sort of.
Yeah, I guess that's valid.
If he gets fucking snuffed out by anybody, it seems like for whatever reason they're just looking for a reason to fucking sell old Leon down the creek. I don't know exactly why, but
I don't know.
Because he's not a very boring fighter, and even his personality is not terribly boring. I mean, he's active on Twitter and fucking, came up from the mean streets of Birmingham. Do we just not care that much about England? I mean, it comes from there was when they were trying to push the fight with him and Tyron for a while, they put like a cartoon or something up of his story and his kind of history to get to the UFC. It was intriguing. It was interesting. I don't really know why the guy's not more popular. What the fuck? He's got a stand-up striking style, a bit conservative with his strikes, but I mean, not a lay and pray guy by no stretch. I really don't understand why he's so disliked by everybody.
I don't know. I think it's a bad idea for Leon just in that, but I guess that's a valid point. I'm with that. You lose this to anybody, he's probably screwed. But if you lose to a guy that's not even really even.
Oh, yeah, they'll play up that angle this guy was rated fucking nothing coming in. He just snuffed Leon out.
So I think that's a concern for Leon. It's not a great fight for Chiminov because
how good could the guy possibly be? I mean, this is the problem. Sorry to cut you off, but let me go ahead and jump in right there. This is why I think it's a horrible fight for the UFC and Chiminov, because the UFC clearly has something with this guy. He's obviously popular. He's got a lot of steam behind him. For fuck's sakes, why on earth would we skip him that far ahead? What was wrong with the Neil Magny fight?
Yeah.
I mean, Mike Perry, Robbie Lawler. I mean, I can go on for days of guys at 170 that he'd probably a lot. I mean, fucking Leon Edwards is ranked number 2 in the world. I mean, 2, 3, 1, some shit like that. He's right towards the top. Why not just give him Colby fucking Covington, for fuck's sakes? I mean, what are we doing here? This seems, again, a little good.
It's almost like the UFC just does not believe in Leon Edwards.
I guess, or they just really believe in Chiminov.
But listen to the UFC fans. The UFC fans are also all in on Chiminov here.
Listen, UFC fans are fucking retards, with all due respect to the most of us. I mean, they're a bunch of fucking affliction-wearing douchebags. The fucking Sean Shelby and Mick Maynard and Dana White are supposed to know what the fuck's going on here. Also, again, I know. Look, I guess on one hand, I respect MMA and the UFC because they don't do this sort of thing.
I respect Chibiov for taking this fight.
Right. Same.
Mad respect.
But real talk, I would not be mad at them doing the MVP thing with this guy. Maybe not MVP. Okay, settle there, everybody. Don't get your panties into us. But,
But fight Mike Perry.
Lob him some softballs,
but fight Mike
man.
Perry.
Yeah.
Not even a softball, but fight Mike Perry. It's a fight that we will know where you stand.
Sure,
it's going to be a fun fight.
70's so deep.
Mike Perry is always just a wild guy to watch.
Give him Cowboy, for fuck's sakes. I mean, I could just go on and on for guys at 70 that would be fine for him to fight, man.
Have you heard all the shit against Mike Perry right now?
Oh, yeah. But no. So
how much truth in that do you think there is?
Well, I don't even know, dude. So the Mike Perry thing happened like about 3 or 4 days ago. He's all over Twitter. What the fuck happened? Did he hit her again, or is this just the same shit that we talked about last year? It's just resurfacing because now she's speaking about it again.
I don't remember the first time around.
Oh, I remember that. We talked about it on the podcast. Yeah. She was talking about going on the MMA Hour, and he had supposedly beaten her or hit her or some shit like that.
That wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, but it was like last year, though. I mean, it was.
I don't think so.
It was 6 months, 8 months. I mean, it was before fucking Corona, wasn't it?
I don't think so. I think this is all relatively new. Because he just released a whole long statement about it. Basically, he obviously didn't.
But he's with another girl now, right?
Yes.
Who's pregnant and shit.
Correct.
That old girl wasn't pregnant during that time, right?
Correct.
Yeah. From the way people were spazzing on social media, I thought he did something to his new pregnant girlfriend. Because people were like putting pictures of John Copenhaver up next to him. And for all you youngins that don't know who that is, this War Machine. That's the guy that fucking was dating the porn star Christy Mack and beat the fucking shit out of her. Yeah. I don't know what Mike Perry. I don't know enough about the story. But I do know for a fact Mike Perry didn't do anything remotely close to that. Now, don't get me wrong. Not saying Perry's a good guy. If you've seen the video where he fucking slugs the old man, he knocks the old man out because the old man fucking, listen, scared me, Jack. Get the fuck away from me, motherfucker. Back up, N-word. Back up. Like, whoo, fuck, yeah, that dude fucking clearly ain't playing with a full deck. So let's not I'm not taking up for Mike Perry, but War Machine is in fucking prison still because he came a cunt hair from killing that girl with his bare hands. I mean, that dude is fucking nuts. Now, doesn't mean that Mike Perry might not be on that road somewhere, but I think we got to be a little careful with our comparisons. That's like comparing somebody to Hitler, low-key. I mean, War Machine is MMA's Hitler. That fucking dude is a piece of shit that nobody advocates for or wants to be a part of. Like, nobody wants any sort of the War Machine business at this fucking point, you know? So, like, I don't, again, Mike Perry's definitely probably should, deal with his anger issues and shit like that. But if this is just something that, I feel like this happened and we all, like, came for him back then when it happened. So I didn't know exactly why we were all coming for him again now. Like, if he didn't actually do anything
I don't
again.
remember coming at him for anything. So I
remember when it happened before. I mean, I do remember that. I'm pretty sure we talked about it on the podcast, dude. I mean, Mike Perry was a fucking shitbird. And I think we were saying that nobody knows exactly what happened because it was her accusations, her story versus his. He seems a little crazy. I think it was just like the obvious statement. If you're a fucking UFC fighter and you're beating up your girlfriend, you're a piece of shit. But beyond that, I hadn't seen no pictures of her beaten. The police did not arrest Mike Perry for fucking domestic violence. If any of y'all have been out there in a relationship, if you spit on your woman and she calls the police, your funny ass is going to jail. So if he didn't go to jail, he couldn't have even touched her. If you grab a bitch by her arm and they call the police, you're going to jail. Now, maybe only for the night, but like, if you so much as touch a finger on a girl and she calls the police, you're going to jail. Now, again, I guess she didn't call the police or whatever. I don't know, but
I think the problem with the accusation, not the problem with the accusation, but the problem for Mike Perry is that he's in a position. Did you hear the new Johnny Craig album?
No, I think I heard some of the songs on it, but not
the
all.
EP. He has a song where he plays this little sound bite where he's talking.
Yeah.
And he says, and I don't remember exactly what he says, but he says something along the lines of, my name has become this thing where if you say my name and then say something that has that and you say an action,
right,
people will just believe it because that's where my name is. That's where I'm at.
The boy that cried wolf in some sort of weird way. Like, you've done so much fucked up shit. They're just like, Johnny Craig, rape. Yep, did it.
Yep. You know what I mean? And that's where Johnny Craig is, right? And he's kind of openly admitting that, talking about that. You know? Like, if you say that I stole a truck and drove it to Mexico,
people are going to believe it.
People are like, yeah, that's why you probably did do that.
Because of your sketchy past.
That's kind of where Mike Perry is.
Sure.
If a girl comes forward and says, Mike Perry beat the shit out of me, I'm going to go, yeah, probably.
Right.
Because that's just how Mike Perry comes across.
Right. Cue the video of him knocking out that old man where it's like, yep, that guy would probably do that. Fuck.
Yeah. So I don't know. I hope he didn't. I assume he did.
Right.
I'm not really... You know, I was a big Mike Perry fan coming into the UFC. I liked the antics.
Sure.
The more it's gone along, one, he's not all that good. You know.
Well, right. He's not great.
No, I mean he's a street fighter.
He's entertaining.
He's a dude that if you're at a bar, Mike Perry would beat the fuck out of you.
Yeah.
You know? But
yeah. Right.
But much further than that, I think he'd be a champion and. You know, in Bellator, maybe. I don't know. Probably not even Bellator.
Right. That's,
you know what I mean?
Bare knuckle championship. He might be a little hot to handle, or some regional scene for sure. But yeah. I don't think he's just a tough street fighter.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's about as far as it goes. So to be honest with you, I'm just going to detach from the guy, and you know, whatever comes out, I'm just going to be like, probably true.
Yeah,
unless.
I was never a major Mike Perry fan. I liked him in the beginning, but like you, I think as things went on, and real talk, when the video came out with him knocking that old man out, I won't be like, oh, that was when I had enough and shit. And for all you fucking twats out there that are maybe thinking like, well, didn't Conor knock an old dude out and blah, 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 blah. I'm telling y'all.
It's a very different circumstance.
If Conor wanted to do that to that old man, what Mike Perry did, he could have. He could have fucking slept that old man on the chair. I mean, we need to really stop being silly about this. If y'all think that Conor couldn't have stepped into that punch and broke that old man's jaw, you're fucking stupid. He was clearly trying to give him a bitch tap. I mean, I know he swung on him, but again, who's more pinpoint accurate than Conor McGregor in this fucking MMA game with their hands? I mean, let's keep it a bean here.
Yeah.
The guy knows how to fucking throw a shot and kind of tap you and not. If he wanted to fucking step in and slug that motherfucker with a straight left hand, he would have fucking slept that old man. Like Mike Perry did with that other. He stepped in and fucking right hooked that old man. That old man fell like a sack of fucking potato. Like he tried to hurt that old man. There's a difference. Like seeing him do that, that's like, yo, bro, what the fuck are you doing?
Can I victim shame real quick?
I mean, the old man was shooting his mouth off.
Can I victim shame real quick? Bro, if that dude's standing in front of you saying that shit to you.
He did tell him to back the fuck up a few times. He did say, don't touch me. The old man said, fuck you, chump.
It's like.
He was like, fuck it.
I'm like, dude, if somebody.
Yeah, he made me nervous. I'll tell you what. I'm a young guy, and if he was doing that, I'd probably head off the other way. I'd let somebody else go deal with that crazy motherfucker. It's time for us to head to a different bar, Jack.
If someone's acting that fucking crazy, I'm not. I'm like, oh, peace. You know, I'm not messing with that.
No shit, man.
You're out of your mind. All right, let's talk about what else. What else?
We haven't even got to the good stuff yet. Do you want to get into the Habib shit?
All right, cool. So Habib, Justin Gaethje fought. That was our main event. I think it went how many of us predicted it?
General consensus. I mean, maybe Gaethje lands the big punch, but yeah, otherwise, this is what we're going to see.
Habib looked very, very good. He was rock solid. I don't know if you saw this or not, but on multiple judges, on 2 of 3 judges' scorecards for the first round, they had Gaethje winning.
Really?
Just absurd.
That's fucking weird.
That's absurd.
Yeah, I mean, all he did was land a few fucking leg kicks. I mean, you know, I guess Gaethje looked okay in that first round, but Habib was definitely putting the fucking pressure on the whole fucking time.
There is a 0% chance that Gaethje won
that first round.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
So I don't know what they're talking about. But anyway, fight goes, I think, again, how we kind of imagined it would go.
Yeah, he was the favorite for a reason.
Yeah. And then promptly retires. When he said he's retired, here's the thing. Habib is retired.
Okay.
He is retired.
Right.
There is no question about it. He is retired.
Now, hold on, though. Now, let's so, yeah, there's a lot to fucking break down with this shit. So let's start right there for a moment.
Okay.
Habib wins. He looks good. First thing he does is takes those fucking gloves off and retires in the cage. You said Habib is retired. Let me just get straight to the brass tacks of this whole thing. Yes, I do believe listen, he retired, right? He threw his gloves off, he's retired. Does he stay retired? Is that the last? Like, let's stop fucking right here. Let's stop dancing around it. Is that the last time we see Khabib compete in the octagon?
Is it the last fight ever? Probably not.
I tend to agree.
But I think it's the last fight for quite some time, and I think it's the last fight possibly why his mom is still alive. And, you know, I don't think that his mom is on death's doorstep, so it may very well be the last time because she may be alive long enough to where he doesn't fight again. In that culture, like for him to say, my mom told me to not fight while my dad was gone because it was disrespectful to him.
Right.
To me, that is just cut and dry. Like, that is how that culture is. That is the agreement that family now has. He's not going to break that agreement with his family. So there is a very, very real possibility that you just legit never see him again. As far as fighting, I think he's going to coach.
Oh, sure.
I think
he'll be around. He'll be in corners and shit.
I think he's going to be probably one of the best MMA coaches that we have, and I think he's going to produce some champions.
For that very reason, he will fight again. If Khabib was going to fuck off to the Dagestani mountains and raise goats and fucking, have 16 wives or do whatever the fuck he wanted to do over there because he's a fucking multimillionaire and could, I might actually believe that he stays away from the game. Because, you can get away. You can actually get the fuck away. If his funny ass is in that gym helping those guys get ready, I do think you're right. I think he's gone for a while regardless here. He's probably burnt out. He's the king. Why not take a year or two off and sort of enjoy your spoils for a little while? I do think he's gone for a little while regardless. But I think eventually something happens. Let's say, for instance, I don't know. Let's say Conor knocks out Dustin. Now, I know he doesn't like Conor. He doesn't want to fight Conor. That's fair enough. Okay. Conor knocks out Dustin. Okay, fair enough. Khabib stays gone. At this point, they're going to have to do an interim belt for the lightweight fucking championship. If Conor does knock Dustin out, dollars to donuts, he's one of the participants in that fight. Who knows who will be fighting? Let's just say Tony Ferguson gets thrown in there for shits and gigs. Michael Chandler or the fucking like. Conor knocks them out. He gets the belt. If Conor keeps saying Khabib's name, I know that Khabib said he didn't care. He don't like him. I think, though, with Conor's success, if he has success, I think that will draw Khabib out. If Conor loses or doesn't look great, that's one thing. If he comes out and just starts starching fools and goes back to the Conor of 2014, 15, whatever the fuck it was, where he was just running through people, and every time afterward, he calls him a little Dagestani rat, and that's where he's at, and moves up to 70 and gets a big win there. I do think there's things, especially if Khabib's always in the gym. Imagine if fucking Conor fights his buddy, fucking Islam Makhachev. Imagine if that happens and he fucking knocks Islam out and then fucking runs over there. I mean, I know I'm exaggerating a little bit here and jumping to some pretty crazy conclusions, but I do think there are scenarios in which we see Khabib get tempted to come back. And the thing is, I agree, he probably don't need money. Money's not an issue for Khabib, but that's also why I think he'll fight again. If it was just for money, I think he wouldn't fight. But Khabib cares about legacy and pride and honor, and I think those things you are able to eat at if Khabib stays in this game.
I think he cares about his family's legacy more than his fighting legacy. And for him to say that his mom said that he is tarnishing his father's legacy by continuing to fight without him.
To be fair, for me. Now, listen, welcome to the Not Safe for Work fucking MMA show, boys. We're about to get into some graphic fucking detail here, but
I'm very nervous about what you're about to say.
Also, to be fair, with all that being said about...
Do I need to get the bleep button ready?
I mean, maybe. Listen, I don't know. Fuck you, motherfuckers. It ain't me. I'm saying this is the way they act. In that region of the world, I don't think they value women's opinion all that much. I think Khabib loves his mother.
I think they value the mom's opinion.
I think he loves his mother, but I think there is a situation in which he could be like, Mom, you don't understand this, and I disagree with you. I think Dad would want me to take this fight because, for whatever reason, I think he would want me to be. Let me tell you something, Jack. Let me ask you this, fucking Kyle, then smart guy.
Yeah.
You think if they fucking come up with fucking GSP on a platter tomorrow, he don't take that fucking fight?
Correct.
Oh, mommy don't count then, does she?
No. I'm saying I don't think he takes it.
Oh, I think you're higher than fuck. I think that's the one fight that was the dream fight for the dad. I think if that became an opportunity, he'd be like, look, Mom, chill out. This was Dad's biggest fight for me ever. We're doing this shit. After this, I'm definitely done. It puts me at 30-0. I complete Dad's vision. That's what we always wanted. He always wanted this fight. I'm going to do it. I'm going to beat the fuck out of this old Canadian because he's old and out of his prime anyways.
It's suck to leave it 29-0. Like, come on, get us an even number.
We're going to get around to that too, but listen. To be fair, you know what? Fuck it. We'll get right the fuck into it. No, we won't. No, I don't want to jump ahead. I want to make sure we take all this carefully. In a nutshell, I don't think Khabib is done competing. I do think we see him fight again. I think this is going to be a vacation, but not a for sure definitive retirement. No.
I don't know, man.
I don't think so. How old is fucking Khabib? Do we even know? Is he 30, 31, 33?
I think he's 30.
30?
About to be 30?
Yeah, come on, man. He can't fucking retire now. He's just getting good.
I know.
That's another thing. People act like Khabib is on an Anderson Silva-like run. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, he is not. And I know that Anderson's on like a 7-fight losing streak right now, but again, that's for all you youngins. There was a point in time where Anderson Silva was defending his belt for like the 10th or 11th time. Some of those were shitbird fights, but some of those were absolute massive fucking fights at the time. People really want to fucking kind of undermine Anderson Silva's streak when he was at it, but I just don't think what Khabib's done really compares in hindsight to that sort of shit. I mean, Khabib's got a fantastic record, 29-0, but let's keep it a bean. How much a O was he when he got to the UFC? What is he in the UFC now? 12-0, 10-0, something like that?
Probably 12, I think.
So at 29 fights, that means what, man? He was fucking 17, 18-0 when he got to the UFC? Name me one of those guys. Name me one of those first 18 dudes he fought, man. And I'm not saying that some of them weren't tough, but I guarantee you the first... Again, I'm pretty sure that he was fighting multiple fights in one night in the beginning of his career in Russia. Now, again, I'm not here to fucking shit on Khabib. Khabib is... I'll give him this. I've been very, critical of Khabib. After last night's performance, this is what my opinion on Khabib. I do think that Khabib is the greatest lightweight of all time. He is the greatest 155. And I'm the biggest BJ Penn. I'm the biggest BJ Penn fan in the world. I still think BJ moving up to 70 means a lot. But at the end of the day, I will say that I think Khabib is the greatest lightweight ever. His record, what he's done, the fact that he's only lost one round and he barely lost that one. He's never really been cut or rocked in a fight. He is the greatest lightweight of all time. But if you want to extend the conversation past that, there's a lot to talk about. I just don't think his career has the longevity to really speak to those things. I mean, again, he's been very dominant, but if you go back and watch the Gleason-Tebow fight, people thought he lost that fight. That fight was really close. It was another super dominant grappler that he couldn't necessarily outstrike, and to be fair, that was fucking 5 years ago or something. Khabib's probably advanced a lot since then, but, like, I seen Keith made a point that pound for pound, okay? So what are we talking about here? Everybody was anointing Khabib, the king after last night. So is he the GOAT or is he pound for pound the best?
Do you want me to read
Keith's post?
Keith's post?
We could do that just so we can have the discussion from his perspective, because I think it is a good perspective. I do think that maybe there's a point to be made that the GOAT and pound for pound are not the same thing. Being the GOAT, meaning that your credentials sort of come into it. Being pound for pound, exactly what you're about to explain with Keith's post.
All right, so here's Keith's post. Keith, he is our executive producer, basically runs the LoudMouth MMA podcast network at this point.
Right. He's the man.
I started it. Keith runs it. So this is what he said. He said, it drives me crazy that people don't understand what pound for pound actually means. Pound for pound means who is the best right now. It does not mean who is the best all time. A fighter's career accomplishments really don't matter. Only what he has done recently. In his last 3 fights, Khabib has mauled 3 incredible fighters, and Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier, and Justin Gaethje. He got a stoppage in all 3 bouts. And John Jones' last 3 fights, he got a boring decision against Anthony Smith, won a split decision over Thiago Santos, and won a decision over Dominic Reyes, a bout in which most think Jones should have lost. If you want to talk about who the GOAT is, then you talk about a fighter's career accomplishments and accolades. In this case, Jones blows Nurmagomedov away and is the GOAT. It is basically the Tom Brady versus Patrick Mahomes debate. Tom Brady is without a question the greatest QB in the history of the NFL. However, right now, Patrick Mahomes is the best QB in the NFL. I agree with that sentiment in totality.
I think I agree with most of it. I do agree with most of it. I agree with what he's saying as far as obviously we're on the same page with John Jones and credentials. I really don't think that's debatable. I mean, you can have the steroid debate. So if you want to say that John Jones tested positive or whatever, if you want to say that and then he's out, then fair enough. I'm not here to argue that. If you take the steroids out of the debate, their credentials aren't really comparable. I mean, John Jones has been defending his fucking belt.
Khabib is 32.
Okay. Still, young man. John's got double or triple the title defenses. I mean, he was the youngest UFC light heavyweight champion of all, or no, the youngest UFC champion of all time. I think he won the belt at what, like 21 or fucking some 22, some insane shit like that. He just put up a tweet today saying that he got signed by the UFC 9 months after his first MMA practice. Again, I'm not trying to shit on Khabib. I want to make that clear. Like, Khabib deserves all the respect in the world. All the Conor hyperbole aside, Khabib's the fucking man. But if we want to have a serious discussion about this, you gotta remember these sort of things. Khabib is not the only one to have these really crazy accolades. And yes, you can point to the fights that John Jones have had that are close. Let Khabib have as many fights in the UFC as John Jones does, and I guarantee you some of them are close. Khabib might even lose if he keeps fucking fighting. Like, that's the point with Conor that I kind of got to fucking give people. Yeah, he won some big fights, but then he didn't keep fighting. Would he have kept winning? Would he have lost like 3 fights by now? These are very important statistics. Khabib hasn't had to really come in and win a quote-unquote easy fight yet. And let me tell you something. Them easy fights, like when Rockhold fought Bisping again, and on One Eye thunderstruck him, those easy fights, like when Crow Cop came in to fight Gabriel Gonzaga, sometimes those are the hardest fights for you. If Khabib stuck around and defended that lightweight belt another 5-6 times against 2 or 3 guys that shouldn't even be in there with him, with 2 or 3 massive names that you don't know what's going to happen, then we can start really having this all-time GOAT conversation. Now, to Keith's point about being just the greatest in the UFC now, I disagree with that. Okay, so let me get into it here. Khabib. Khabib is the greatest lightweight ever, in my opinion. He's a fantastic fighter. That being said, for all of me, and I know, keyboard warrior here, and I know he's been extremely effective doing it, I see massive holes in Khabib's game. I tweeted during the fight last night, Khabib is just dying to get countered. He flails in with his arms to the side. He threw an uppercut slap last night. He's the best in the world, that GSP sort of thing where he keeps your guard down by, you don't know. He mixes it up so well. But I swear to God, if somebody can just stand down on their punch and fire back a piston straight fucking right or left hand at him while he's flailing in like that, somebody is going to fuck around and counter Khabib and knock his funny ass down or out. I mean, again, I realize it's been extremely effective for him. I don't give a fuck. There's a reasons why they teach you to do things in fighting, and they say, don't rush in like this because it's easy to get countered.
Well, and there's a reason why part of your point was, let's have the consistency in fighting. Let's have 10 fights over the last 3 years.
Sure, exactly. Because eventually, I think Khabib's style eventually catches up to him. I know they haven't done it yet. And now we're going to really get in the fucking weeds, and I'm going to just sound like a big fucking Conor dick rider. But this is why I still say I think Conor can beat Khabib. And I mean that. I'm serious about that. I think that if Conor comes out in the first round and he is fucking on his money, let me tell you something, Jack. If a prime Conor fought Khabib last night and he doesn't try to grapple him and Khabib rushes in on Conor like that with his fucking throwing those little goofy jabs and flailing his arms around, I promise you Conor sleeps him. His striking is still loose at best. Again, I know it worked. I know that little weird jab he was throwing worked and shit, but I'm fucking telling you, that dude's striking is not great. It works for MMA because he's able to impose his game. But I'm telling you, man, even Justin clipped him a little in one of those exchanges. And Justin's not really a pinpoint striker per se. He's got a lot of fucking power, but he's not really a Conor McGregor type striker. So for me to put a cap and a bow on all this shit, I think Izzy's the best right now. I think if you morphed Khabib's little funny ass up to 185, Izzy would fuck him up. I don't think he would hold Izzy down. I think Izzy would back up, and as Khabib was wading in like the fucking inflatable tube, man.
And for those of you who misunderstood what he said, this isn't Khabib gains weight and goes up to 185. This is Khabib as a natural 185er is fighting Izzy.
Style for style. Take a 185er that is as dominant as Khabib. You know, I still don't think they take Izzy down. I think if they fight exactly the way Khabib does, Izzy snipes a guy like that coming in. You come in fucking like that on Israel Adesanya, and I think he puts you right down. I just think he backs up, keeps his eye on the target, and punches you right in the fucking face, right between your fucking loose arms and hands. I just really do. And that's not me hating on Khabib. Real talk, it's not. Like, I feel like I see holes in his game. Now, again, I realize nobody's been able to capitalize on, but that don't mean they can't be fucking capitalized on. It doesn't mean that he's not hittable. Just because nobody's hit the fucking guy, it doesn't mean that he's still not very fucking hittable, man. So that's just my fucking thing on Khabib. I do think, again, that Khabib is great. I don't want to look. I will say this, to Khabib's credit, the triangle that he put Justin in, he was just showing out. He could have just mauled him there and got that rear naked choke, and that would have been a safe, easy thing. If I'm not mistaken, he pulled that triangle from his back, or from being on Justin's back, right?
Yeah.
Like, he fucking pulled some slick shit to throw him into that triangle.
Yeah.
So credit where it's due. That was super slick by Khabib. That was some real fucking slick ass ground game jiu-jitsu / sambo shit right there, man. So not only did he finish him, but that was actually probably, in my opinion, one of Khabib's most impressive finishes. Just the way he slid it on from behind. Like, he jerked Justin into that triangle, and Justin was tapping within moments, low-key. Fucking silly-ass ref. We can talk about that, too. Bro, he tapped 132 times, and you still let him get fucking choked to death. Fuck's sakes. What do you want him to do? He's fucking tapping.
It was a kind of a weird tap because he was trying to find his body.
Yeah.
So I get it. I mean, I don't blame the ref for that one. And I think we had another late tap stoppage, or just not a late tap stoppage, but kind of a late stoppage, which was that Anklov fight.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: if I'm the ref, I'm letting that go on a little bit, even longer than that ref did, because I'm like, listen,
bro.
We're not.
Yeah.
You got mad last time. Let's make sure you're out.
We're not doing this again, boys. It was. DC was like, it's over now, boys.
Let's make sure you're out.
No debate now. What the fuck?
It's like he was out, then he was out again, then he was out a third time, fourth time. All right, go. I'll stop it now.
Okay,
I'd probably let it go to 6 times out. Like,
yeah.
Okay, so now we're done.
Don't fucking kill him, for fuck's sake. All right, so we've kind of talked a lot about Khabib and like maybe let's discuss the possibilities if he does stay gone.
Yeah.
Okay, so you kind of think he does. Let's say for a moment there, that was it, Jack. That's the last time we ever see Khabib.
God, can we have a lightweight tournament?
Well, that's what do we do next?
Have a lightweight tournament, please.
Do you think maybe they'll just say fuck it and rush it and make Dustin and Conor for the belt? I mean,
I think you have to have Gagey. Gagey had the UFC is weird, so
Gagey just got snuffed out too. I mean,
but he's
coming off a loss for fuck's sake.
But he lost against the guy. He lost in the title fight against the guy who had the belt.
I mean, but still, that doesn't really guarantee him a title shot, does it?
Yes, I think it does.
Yeah, okay,
I think it does. So
he can fight the winner of Poirier Conor.
So the question is that the whole Conor Dustin thing isn't even finalized yet. So the question becomes: is the next fight Gagey Conor?
Right.
I think that's
for the belt.
For the belt.
Yeah, but I would be pissed if I was Dustin. Like, I don't fucking think so. We're fighting on the fucking 23rd, buddy. Yeah, fuck off, Justin. You're not about to slide in and take my fucking red panty night.
So, do you think Gagey fights the winner then? Is that what you want to see?
Fuck, I don't know. Maybe, probably. You also got Tony Ferguson there, which is a lot of fun. I mean, we can kind of fucking place him anywhere. We've also got a lot of rematches happening at that point. I mean, Dustin and Justin have fought.
Who else besides Tony is a contender?
You'd have to bring up the rankings. I don't really know at lightweight.
Because I wouldn't mind saying I like the idea of a tournament. So you could have Poirier and
I love the idea of that. I don't know if they'll actually do it.
You could have Poirier McGregor fight. It's got to be at 155, not this whole 170 bullshit.
Well, right.
It's got to be at 55.
Stop it with that.
And then have Tony fight somebody. Can't
Chandler
Gaethje again. Tony fight Chandler.
We got Chandler there now, so there's that.
And even try to throw him on the same card if we can.
And then just winners fight for the belt. I mean, like if you did.
Oh, then where's Gaethje?
That's true. Gaethje would be asked out.
Well,
maybe give Gaethje Chandler,
or give Gaethje a break.
Yeah.
Give Gaethje a break. You have those two fight on the same night.
Yeah, and then have Gaethje fucking around for the winner of somebody or something.
And then the next two fight. In 3 months, hopefully.
Right.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then winner of that gets Gaethje.
Yeah. I mean, look, lightweight. If we were going to have a debacle like this happen, lightweight's the fucking weight division to do it at. I mean, there's still plenty of guys there for us to. Lightweight's going to be fucking entertaining no matter what. So I ain't too worried about it. Regardless, there's all kinds of fucking talent at lightweight. I ain't mad at it. I getting back on the Habib thing, sorry, but I will be really salty if Habib does actually stay retired, though. For me, the Habib show is just getting going, man. Now I'm starting to wonder how good Habib really is. It feels like everybody's like, oh, we know he's great, he's the greatest. Well, man, I want to see Habib at 70 now. I wonder what would happen if Habib fought Colby. Would he be able to beat a Colby, or would he just get the fuck beat out of him? Does he just make the right weight cut to a division where the guys just aren't as strong as him? Would his game transfer to fucking 170, or would those guys just beat the fuck out of him? I don't know that, but that's I would love to see that now, though. I don't know. For me, I'm just now starting to buy in to Habib as one of the absolute greatest fighters on earth. And it's I want to see him continue to be tested. I mean, the Gaethje fight was a good fight, but let's not act like we ain't seen Gaethje lose twice in the UFC. I mean, he lost to Poirier and to fucking Eddie Alvarez.
I think it's very difficult to say that he is. It's very difficult to say that he is the great, the GOAT. If he's stopping this early and stopping this young, he's going to cast a giant shadow.
Right. I mean, some people
forever.
Some people will always be like, he went out on top, blah blah blah, the whole sort of GSP angle and stuff. But I mean, he never even really got hurt in a fight. But again, that's also sort of the problem with this thing, man. Like you said, he's so young yet. He's just getting going. Fuck, he could fight for another 2 or 3 years at the very least before he even gets close to fucking, maxing out or getting over the hill. Or it kind of just is shitty. This is the time, right? It feels like this is at 30 years old. He's primed up, man. Right now is the absolute prime of his life. These next 2 or 3 years, he's got his grown man strength. Fuck, don't retire now, dude. And there's still tons of fights. I don't give a fuck what Habib says. If Conor comes out and starches Dustin, the Habib rematch would be huge. It would be. I know most people assume Habib would win, and he probably would. But I still think that pinpoint accurate striking could be a problem for Habib if anybody can just sit down their punches. I still think that, let me tell you something. When Habib fought Conor the first time, if you recall, he didn't pull none of that bullshit. He dove on a single leg immediately. And the problem was Conor could have got away from that if he would have just been, the floor is lava. Get off, push his head down, and jump the fuck back like a cat and make him strike. But Conor dove right into a grappling game. He got cute. He got arrogant. He got cocky. And Habib took him down and sapped him that whole first round. I think that if Habib didn't come out trying to strike with Conor, because he knows in his heart of hearts he is hittable. And with certain guys, like I said, man, Gaethje's just not all that. He's not a sniper. He's not that accurate per se. He beat the fuck out of Tony Ferguson. But again, in hindsight, Tony Ferguson is very hittable. He's extremely tough, but he's hittable.
Yeah. let's finish on this. If you do an 8-man bracket and you sub in the 8th fighter as Michael Chandler. So on here, the 8th fighter is Cesar Fiera. So if you get rid of him and you sub in Michael Chandler, you would have Justin Gaethje versus Michael Chandler, right? Going 1-8.
Okay. Which is a great fucking fight.
Okay, and then going 2-7, you got Dustin Poirier versus Paul Felder.
That would be very interesting. I mean, Paul's probably like fucking A.
And then you'd have Tony Ferguson versus Charles Oliveira.
Okay.
I'm actually digging this. And then you'd have Conor McGregor versus Dan Hooker.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. I guess this will never fucking happen.
Problem is Conor McGregor's never going to fight Dan Hooker.
Yeah. For as interesting as this is, we'd have to mix the names of it. Conor's not.
So let's just assume we go 1-8.
Right.
Okay, with Michael Chandler subbing in at 8. And let's just assume you got to go with the rankings. So these are the fights.
Okay, hypothetically. Right.
So who wins out of Gaethje Chandler?
Gaethje.
I agree.
I have to go with Gaethje. Close fight, though, and could go any way, but I have to go with Gaethje still.
Who wins out of Dustin Poirier, Paul Felder? I'm going to go Dustin Poirier.
Well, right. I mean, I don't think anybody could really say Paul Felder in that fight. Paul Felder's tough, but it's got to be Dustin.
Tony Ferguson, Charles Oliveira.
The same thing. Tony. I mean,
And then Conor.
I mean, let's be honest. Yeah. Conor fucking puts it to the hangman.
All right. So now you would then have one would fight. So it'd be Justin Gaethje, Conor.
Okay, that's a good fight. I still think Conor wins that fight relatively easily just because Gaethje is hittable.
And then it would be Poirier versus Ferguson.
That's a fucking good fight. That's a really good fight. But I tell you what, I feel like Poirier could do to Tony what Justin did to him.
So then at the end of the day, for the title, we'd have Poirier McGregor.
Yeah.
Probably. So even just going through, and I think I agree with you. So just going through this, fuck it, make Dustin Conor for the belt.
I mean, the only thing
I don't like leaving Justin Gaethje in the weeds, but
and the way we did this, Conor would have had to beat Justin to get there. But I think that he would. I mean, I suppose that's obviously debatable, but I think he would. And obviously the Tony fight, like Tony might be in that spot too. It could be Tony and Dustin instead of Conor and Dustin. But yeah, I think again, I just feel like Tony and Justin are too hittable for Conor, man. Like, he's too accurate, especially in that first round, and they're too hittable in that first round.
Yeah, I think I agree.
So,
all right, well, there we go. Appreciate you.
That would be fun. Yeah, we'll see how it works. I'm definitely, again, just to put a bow on this, man, shout out to Khabib. He looked great. That fucking triangle was sneaky and beautiful. I'm willing to grant him the greatest lightweight of all time. And listen, if he continues to fight, he's right there. If he hadn't have retired and he would have been like, all right, motherfuckers, now I'm putting 170 on notice. Fucking Hazmat, fucking Chiminov, get some. I'm coming for you next. Fuck Sweden, you traitorous cocksucker, and I'm coming for you, Usman. I'm coming. Like, if he had done that, and actually, imagine if fucking Khabib went up and threw fucking Chiminov a beating or some shit like that. That's the sort of shit. And don't get me wrong, I realize that's kind of asking a lot of Khabib to go up and fight men that are bigger than him. He shouldn't have to do that. But if he did, that's the sort of shit that would be like, all right, John, that's kind of hard. You know, if Khabib went up and destroyed Usman, woo. Like, fuck it. John can keep all of his accolades. That still speaks volumes. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, if he did something like that, it would even, me being somewhat of a detractor of his, it'd be hard to argue at that point. Like, if you can come up and beat another undefeated champion and take the belt at 170, go to 30-0. Like, really, and we're about to wrap up, I know, but, like, they mentioned this GSP fight a lot. And I get that because it's sexy. It's George. It's very sexy styles. But at the end of the day, I think Khabib beats the fuck out of George. Or George is old. He ain't fought in a month of Sundays. And the last time he did fight, it was against a one-eyed Bisping at 85. I mean, he hasn't fought a tough fight at 70 fucking 10 years. I mean, I just think Khabib mauls him. I don't even think it's close, to be honest. Now, Khabib versus Usman?
Whole nother animal.
Whole nother ball. I think not only does Khabib, probably not win that fight, I think he's like an underdog. I think that's the fight. If they do the George St. Pierre fight, hypothetically, they do that, everybody is just going to say what I said. George is way too old. He hadn't fought in forever, blah, blah, blah. If they actually did the Usman fight and Khabib came in and shut Usman down and whipped his ass, there's no two ways about it. Usman's still a very young man in the prime of his career. Like there's no argument there. Usman's nowhere near a sexy name as George, but for all of us that know what the fuck we're looking at, a Khabib win over Usman would mean way more than George right now at this point in fucking life.
I agree.
So, I hope he's not done. I hope, all due respect, I hope he tells his mom to piss off and he just says fuck it and comes back, man. I don't want to see him end now.
I think he is.
Well, only time will tell.
All right. I'll see you next week.
Later, bro.